Sooners of Oklahoma at 12-0 and still looking for respect nationwide.
What is going on, Sooner Nation? Thank you all for tuning into another episode of the Barry and Mack Show. As always, myself, Barry, personal trainer, sports performance coach out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and alongside me for our special edition Gorilla Nuts Player of the Game, former Sooner wide receiver, 2000 national champ, Mr. Damian Mackey. How are we doing today, D-Mac?
I think it's also always important to make sure we honor Gorilla Nuts Player of the Game. This is a big deal just because it came about the 2000 season, as the story goes, against Texas A&M, the game that T. Marshall makes that infamous play. Yet it's interesting because it started with the defense getting cooked by Robert Ferguson and coaches asking us to figure it out, and the defense coming on our side. If you guys know, our sideline is split into two halves. The offensive team has from the 50-yard line down to the one side of the field, and then the defense has from the 50-yard line down to the other side of the field, depending on where we're playing. And at Norman, we have the north end zone, they have the south end zone. And we crossed lines that day. In that A&M game, we crossed lines, and the defense was on our side saying, damn it, who's going to make a play? And the offense crossed lines like, damn it, who's going to make a play? And the coaches looked at all of us like, damn it, who's going to make a play? Who's got those gorilla nuts? And I always just think it's so appropriate to understand how that culture manifests, or is at least partly responsible for Torrance Marshall and that pick. And then, of course, taking it to the house. And, of course, that is one of the things that gets us over the hump to the natty. And, of course, it's unfortunate that it's been so long. When I watched that film, I'm like, damn, did it really look that bad? You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Like, bro, that looks like a film projector. So, but no, Gorilla Nuts is a big deal. And it's not always the guy with the most yards. It's not always the guy with the most tackles. It's really that pivotal play, or maybe someone who stepped up and went over and beyond what was necessary to do. And so, yeah, man, this is going to be something we're starting this year as its own separate segment. So that'd be pretty cool to have. We would look forward to you guys' participation. I think Barry's going to post a flyer. That way you guys can let us know who your Gorilla Nuts Player of the Game was as well. I know a lot of people participated with that in the past. Let's keep it going. I also want to say, guys, 5,000 subs. We want to get there. We're appreciating you guys. Continue to watch the YouTube channel. The Spotify and the Apple have always done well, right? Our first 2 years, we killed it on the audio version. The video version is picking up steam. We appreciate you guys' contributions, liking and sharing as these things roll out. Let's get to it, man. I know who mine are, and so I know. I'm interested to hear who yours are, and get this thing done.
Absolutely, man. And without further ado, let's kick it off. Offensive side of the ball, D-Mac, I'm gonna let you go first. Let's get this thing rolling today.
Yeah, I think after all the pain, the hurt, the agony, right? And really just like OU Nation, really just wanting to see a productive and competent offensive scheme, plan, and really connecting on plays, to have Josh Heupel and J Dub and you even got to say Landry Jones. And then, of course, you got some of your Heisman winners like Sam and Bake and Kyler, even Jay Hurts, and even Caleb. You got to put his name in there. I think it feels really good to have a quarterback we feel good about. Can be. He looks to me game one. He's got a long way to go. We don't want to. I remember Baker's first year. We're looking at Bake like, man, this could be something. Right? If you guys know if you know what I mean, you know what I mean, right? Like we watched Bake play early, and then obviously that Tennessee game was the coming of his own game for he and Sterling. But Mateer looks to be a guy, and at least week one of this season has given us hope that we can score 40 in a game, that we can come back if we're behind, that he can make something out of nothing. It doesn't have to be perfect, and that he still might miss, right? Gorilla Nuts Player of the Game on offense. I want to put a caveat and say it also felt really good to see receivers look like dogs again. And again, I think a lot of that has to do with ball placement, quarterbacks being able to let you catch it and run with it, catch you and do something with it. So I think we add Burks in there a little bit. I think we add Lewis in there a little bit. I think we add Satania in there a little bit. He's got a nice little inside slant that he runs early in the game. That receiver core, but primarily our QB, 30 out of 37. 4 total touchdowns. He runs one in and kind of stiff arms a guy. He would have looked cute if the guy wouldn't have pushed him at the very end, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Gives him that last push, messed up his little prime time. Material, man. Barry Mack Show, offensive, Gorilla Nuts player of the game, brother. Keep up the good work. We're looking forward to seeing you continue to do that. If I find your Twitter, I'll tag you. Or if your IG or something like that, I'll tag you in it. But I want to let you know, man, proud of you. Continued success. Let's go kick Michigan's ass on Saturday.
Absolutely, man. And staying with the offensive side of the ball, for Gorilla Nuts, sometimes it's not about the big play that you make. Sometimes it's about, do you have your head about you when the odds are stacked against you? When you know you are a pivotal piece to what the team is trying to do, especially for that given game, but maybe there's a play that doesn't go your way early on. And that brings me to my Gorilla Nuts player of the game, Jaren Kanak, right? This is a guy who has been much maligned at the linebacker position for the last 3 years. Really struggled to find his footing. They move him over to tight end this season. He's playing that position undersized. He isn't the best blocker on the team. He's not the best route runner at tight end. But, man, he is a football player. And early on in that game, when he caught that pass, Mateer put it through a window, man. Mateer put that thing right in the middle of the field, let it rip. Kanak is flying down the field, fumbles the ball. 85,000 people looking upon, 85,000 people saying, get him out of there. He can't play linebacker and he can't play tight end. What does Kanak do? He comes back. He ends up being one of the more impressive pass catchers on the day. And you left that game saying, OU's got to find a way to get him the ball, right? I was going to run this past you because I heard it the other day. If OU ends up with depth issues at running back, put Kanak back there in short yardage in different situations and let him just be a battering ram going north and south. There was a tackle that he broke where a guy tried to get him around the waist, wasn't fully, and he just glanced off, right? Because Kanak has some size about him. Has some strength about him and definitely plays with explosiveness. But Gorilla Nuts player of the game, Jaren Kanak, the mentality to come back after an issue like that, after putting the ball on the turf early on and allowing Illinois State to get another drive started. Gotta love the mentality, D-Mac. Let's switch over to the defensive side of the ball, and I will go first on this one. I've watched back the film now, watched a ton of plays, and I will say on the defensive end, there's a lot of good to go around and a lot of people who could get Gorilla Nuts player of the game. But I'm going to give it to a guy who's been in the program and has developed now for a little bit. And Venables talks about guys like this, guys who they have a vision for. Not every player, in fact, most players are not equipped to walk in day one and look like a Michael Fasusi, look like an Elijah Thomas. Most players come in there with high school bodies and need development. That's what this player was. And in the game, he was consistent. Rarely was he out of position. And for a guy who isn't viewed as the premier edge player on the team, didn't get the 5-star pub like your Adam Juarez, didn't get the Marvin Jones Jr., the RMT. He is a guy who is blue collar and was willing to do the dirty work that nobody saw and then come in this season and make plays. And I'll tell you, technically, He is a fantastic edge player, at least from what we saw against Illinois State. He has some of the best stop and go. He has really good feel of where the quarterback is in the pocket and doesn't overrun the play. And I'm talking Taylor Wine. He ends up getting a very impressive sack in the game. In fact, Venables highlighted it in the show that he does with Toby Rowland just right after the game. And Wine looked impressive, but Gorilla Nuts player of the game to a guy who has worked his tail off to get where he is at, and now is going to be a mainstay in that defensive front and gives OU some much needed secured quality depth on the defensive side of the ball.
I think that's a great call. We call him a fall camp guy. He's a guy who during fall camp solidified himself as a one. He, not D-line. You've got two of every position, right? And so he is a one. I don't think he's a 1B. He's a one. Salute to him for that. I think that's a great pick. I do want to push back. If they give the ball to Kanik as a running back, I'm going to be screaming at somebody. Oh, I'm going to be pissed the hell off if they put Kanik ass back there at running back. He is not a running back. Also, I think he's the best route runner at tight end. The way he was sat in windows, they ran in some zone behind whatever they were doing up front. They were doing some, some angles and some slanting and things of that nature. But he was sitting in windows, and he knew how to run through when he felt a guy on him. He looked good, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Him and Huggins run the. I'm curious to see how Helms looks when if he gets healthy.
No. Helms is nice. I just have never seen him healthy. I saw him in the spring game and the fall scrimmage 2 years ago, maybe his freshman year.
Yes.
Kids. I just don't know if he'll ever be on the field. He's like Sexton at tight end. Huggins is nowhere near Kanik's league. A guy can play Huggins head up and just D his ass up. Kanik, guys are going to have to play cocked because he can run by them. Anyway, I just wanted to give Kanik his flowers.
Absolutely, man. Looks good.
Kanik looked good as a pass catcher. Defensive player or defensive gorillaness. And listen, guys, this is a hard one to get. And I'm hard on this position because, damn it, I used to burn their tails. But I was very impressed and very proud of the young pup. And by the way, flowers to Barry. Barry was the one like, Matt, look at him closer. And I did. And I said, I like him. And I said, I want exactly my response to you. If you remember, I said, we'll see what he looks like when the lights come on. Because a lot of guys in practice, it's not scripted, but it's very controlled. 1-on-1s, there's no threat of a run. 7-on-7, there's no threat of a run. You know what I'm saying? Practice is broken down into times where it's like, 1st and 10. Yeah, there'll be some passes, but generally it's pretty conservative. You're not running any given play on moving the ball like you do in a scrimmage. You don't move the ball in practice very much. Maybe one period, one day out of the week, and then there's scrimmages, right? So for him to be, every play could be a pass, every play could be a run, every play could be a shot, and they picked on him, or at least they tried to. Go back and watch the film. They didn't throw much at Gentry's side. They knew Gentry was an entrenched guy, great athlete. He could make a play on the ball. He could make a play with the ball. They picked on the pup, and he showed up to the tune. And guys, I'm always cautiously optimistic, but I'm a here and now guy. The best availability, the best ability is availability. And I think I said this in my hot take, and I'm going to double down now because I saw him play against Illy State. If Guillory plays well the next 3 or 4 weeks before Eli can come back, and I'm not certain when he'll be back. Okay, he could be back next week, and if he is, he needs to play. But let's just say it takes him 2 or 3 more weeks, and Guillory plays well against Michigan. And then he's shutting stuff down against whoever the hell we play after that, Temple and whoever else the hell we play. I don't know that you just say when Eli comes back, he's the starter. I don't know that you say that. You're talking about a longer, faster guy who's playing well now. He's playing well now versus a guy who you haven't seen play since March. And so I'm not trying to create controversy. I'm not trying to affirm a hot take I took 3 weeks ago. What I am saying is when you get freshmen who play well, it's always good for the program. Those are always an added plus, right? An extra asterisk next to quality depth. And so I think the young man, even his PI that they called, he did. When they showed the replay, he grabbed a little bit of jersey. But then I went on to watch that LSU Clemson game. I don't know if you watched it, but every other play was pass interference, and they only called like 2. And then I went on to watch that Miami and Notre Dame game. And I don't know if you went to saw it, but every other play was pass interference, right? But they only called 2 or 3, right? Kid played the way you want to see a corner play, and tackled well. He was all over the football, and there's something to be said. 3rd and 9, teams behind the 8 ball. If I'm an offensive coordinator, I take my tallest, most physical X, and I move. I can't do a tight end because we might adjust. If they put a tight end in that position, we'll probably put a backer or a safety on them. But you can do it with a receiver. Go get your 6'3", 6'4" receiver. LSU has tons of them. Bama has some. You know what I'm saying? Like South Carolina has them. Texas is going to have some, right? Ringo 6'2" and runs a 4.3. Perfect example. And you just say, hey, dude, we're going to run a fade stop. Quarterback, you tell the receiver, just beat him on the inside shoulder because he can't let you go outside. Run like you're going to fade outside and then cut up right up inside of him. Quarterback put on his face mask. It's just a play that his body limits his ability to get there even if he's there. And it is what it is. I love you.
Yeah.
I loved him since he was in high school. When we watched Peyton Bowen's film, if you remember, I was like, who's the other one? And we were like, oh, he's little, but he was balling. Eli's balling. So baller, I think he's a plus. I think he helps the program. I'm not saying that we take anything away from him, but I am saying, Guillory, we're watching you. You played well. FCST. I'll put that out there. FCS. Next week, you're stepping up, playing against the boys in amazing gold, representing that. By the way, they got some pride. By the way, their head coach is an ex-Sooner. Can you, when the bright lights are on in Norman, Oklahoma, step up again and have them grilling us, man? I think you can. I'm looking forward to seeing you do it. If nothing else, this week you played well. Want to give you your flowers. Let you know, bro. Find your IG and your Twitter. I want to tag you in that. Gorilla Nuts Player of the Game, Week 1 from the Barry Mack Show. Guillory.
Absolutely, man. And just to kind of echo your sentiment that he was talked about by Venables after the game, just his knowledge of the game that he has already picked up, his physicality, his physicality at such a young age is very impressive. It is what Gentry had to some degree when Gentry stepped on the field, and you immediately saw it. Just the same thing with Mateer. Granted, he's been playing at Wazoo before he got here, but there's no guessing on whether or not he's going to be able to throw the ball over the middle of the field. Be afraid to throw it deep. Be afraid to give his receivers a chance. The proof is in the pudding, so to speak, and we've seen it. The quarterback looked like the quarterback should look against a team that you are playing. Guillory did exactly what he was expected to do. Canick, he came back, and offensively, I think OU is going to be able to have some success against Michigan if they can move people on the O-line. And that is what we will be talking about in the upcoming days. Sooner Nation, thank you guys so much for all of the support. We're trying to get this thing to 5,000 subs. We're going to have another show here later in the week. We'll talk about it. We'll break it down on our members only page. We'll put some Michigan film up there and see some of the things that they're doing and discuss how the Sooners, with the current format of this team, how they can compete against a team that's put some guys in the league here lately, offensive side of the ball and especially defensive side of the ball. Quite a few guys over there have now moved into the NFL, so you know that they are stocking up talent. Keep it right here, man. D-Mac, closing thoughts, get us out of here today.
Win on Saturday shuts everybody up and earns our respect back. The pressure games are the ones you want to be in when you go to OU, period. Don't run from this. Don't shy from this. Don't give any locker room material tomorrow in the Santee Lounge. By the way, Santee Lounge is going to be smacking tomorrow. They're going to have some nice little – they be having the saute. It's a good little deal. If you're invited to Santee Lounge, you know you played well or you're a leader on the team. But I hope OU has some of that, some of that grit. I don't want to be too shy about it. I don't want to be, oh my gosh, such a big, nah, man, it's another game on the schedule. We expect to cover home court, period. You come in this house, you got to deal with us. You got to deal with our fans. You got to deal with our environment. That's the mentality I hope they have. And then obviously on the offensive side of the ball, hopefully the O-line can get things together. And like, we both know, hopefully there are a couple of guys who are healthy scratches who will have an opportunity to play on Saturday and be contributors.
And you will see all of that right here. So keep it tuned in to the Barry Mack Show. Make sure to like, subscribe, share. Let everybody know where to get your best Sooner insight right over here. And go check out OU Insider, OUinsider.com. Grab yourself a membership. As always, Sooner Nation, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you soon.